Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
I don't know about you, but I tend to be rather defensive. When someone criticizes me or even looks like they're about to criticize me, I go into defensive mode and give them the why behind whatever I did or didn't do that they didn't like. I usually have a good reason, and I guess I figure if I explain it to them, they'll agree with me. Maybe I just can't stand the thought of someone thinking bad about me. Or maybe I just always like to be right. I don't know. But there are times we don't need to defend ourselves. Instead, God does it for us. That's why I like today's passage. In Numbers 12, Aaron and Miriam start grumbling against Moses. Poor Moses. Not only did he have a few million grumbly people to deal with, but suddenly his leadership team decided to try to usurp his authority. The Bible says what set them off was that Moses married an Ethiopian woman. Now, I don't know why Moses married a foreigner and not a Hebrew, but apparently this didn't bother God as much as it bothered Aaron and Miriam. They quickly jumped from, "We don't like that woman you married," to something like, "Why should Moses be in charge? He's our little brother. God speaks through us too." Now Moses could have reminded them that he was the one who had all the leadership training in Pharaoh's household. He was the one God had appeared to from the burning bush. He was the one God used to part the Red Sea and destroy the Egyptian army. He was the one who God gave the law on top of the mountain, while Aaron was down at the bottom, making an idol for the people to worship. But Moses didn't say any of those things. He kept his mouth shut, a trait that we would do good to pick up at times. Verse 3 says, "Now the man Moses was very humble, more than all men who were on the face of the earth." Now, since Moses wrote the first 5 books of the Bible, and this is in parentheses, it would make sense that someone, probably Joshua, added this verse a little later. I mean, a humble man probably would not have written something like that about himself. But it seems like Aaron and Miriam were the ones who had a pride problem here. God heard what they said about his servant Moses. And let me tell you, after reading this passage, anyone should be cautious about criticizing the authority of their pastor or any other servant of God, because God hears and he defends his servants. In verse 4, the Lord shows up in his pillar of cloud and reamed those two out. He said, "If there is a prophet among you, I, the Lord, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak to him in a dream. Not so with my servant Moses. He is faithful in all my house. I speak to him face to face, even plainly and not in dark sayings, and he sees the form of the Lord. Why then were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moses?" So the anger of the Lord was aroused against them. If you read farther, God strikes Miriam with leprosy. Aaron repents for both of them. Then Moses begs God to heal her, which he does. Pride is a destructive thing, isn't it? Even godly leaders are susceptible to the temptation of being prideful. Pride leads to rebellion, not just against our God-given authorities, but against God himself. Do we question God's authority by being critical of those he put in authority over us? And on the other hand, do we let God defend us when we're doing his work?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through his word. You can listen to other episodes at our website, which you can find in the description below. Thanks for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.